The latest on the investigation into the helicopter crash that killed NBA legend Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others.
Federal investigators have turned the crash site over now to control of local authorities in California. Bad weather and fog believed to have contributed to that crash. We're also now learning the chopper was not equipped with a terrain warning system, despite recommendations from the NTSB. It also didn't have a flight data recorder or cockpit voice recorder.
We now want to bring in Joe Walls, a helicopter pilot and owner of the National Helicopter Solutions. Good morning and thanks for being here.
Good morning, Jose.
Talk about the conditions on that particular morning, since you've heard a lot about what's going on, and as a helicopter pilot, you're probably keeping track of the situation.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was borderline conditions for sure. While it was legal, they were right on the edge of legalities, and they were using exceptions that are only available to helicopters.
And we've learned that an air traffic controller told the pilot that they were flying too low to be able to be tracked. What exactly does that mean?
It's a radar issue, so the helicopter is just too low for the radar to pick it up, so they're not able to see if he's high enough, if they can give him guidance on whether there's terrain ahead of him or not.
And why would he be flying so low so that they couldn't warn them? Would it be because of the foggy conditions and he couldn't tell, or perhaps there was a reason behind that?
Yeah.
I mean, I know
absolutely.
It's hard to say.
The goal is to stay under the clouds.
Yeah.
And so he can see, he can follow the roads that he was following and that kind of thing. If he would have been higher and in radar coverage, he would have been completely in the clouds.
What about the instrumentation aboard a helicopter? Should he have been looking at the instrumentation and also listening to the air traffic controllers at the same time in order to exactly know where you are and how high you are?
Well, in his situation, he was flying special VFR, so what he's saying is he is flying visually. To fly on instruments and those systems and to be working with air traffic control to get fit into airport environments and stuff like that, he would have planned that flight from the very beginning to be an instrument flight, and he would have been flying much higher. So he was doing everything right. He just came upon what I think is some unexpected conditions. I think he was fine until he wasn't, and unfortunately when you get in that situation, you really have seconds to react.
And there was no Mayday call, and is that because it happened so quickly there was just no time? I mean, yeah. I guess.
Absolutely. It was whatever happened, and I believe he encountered weather conditions that he wasn't expecting. It happened very unexpectedly, and he did not have time to say anything, or maybe he had no idea that he was about to hit the terrain.
In a helicopter that size, it carried that many people, because usually we're just thinking in terms of a helicopter that would carry 5 max, 3 in the back and the pilot and co-pilot up front. The flight data recorders, are they required in helicopters?
Not in all helicopters. It's kind of a case-by-case basis. What kind of operation are you doing? You know, who are the passengers, that kind of thing. A public use helicopter versus an air medical helicopter, for example, have different requirements. So it's very likely that it wasn't required in that helicopter. And it may have been useful in this investigation because we would have seen exactly what control inputs that pilot made to determine, hey, he likely encountered this weather condition. He made some control inputs that put him into the side of that hill.
Well, and the NTSB had been a little concerned about all vehicles not having those terrain warning systems, and they talked to the FAA about that, but it wasn't necessary in this particular helicopter. Do you feel like that's really important for people to think about, that if you were in something like that, that you want to know and you want to have all the warning systems that you could possibly have?
Well, this pilot likely would have known he was flying in those terrain conditions, and being that it was a very unexpected weather event, it probably wouldn't have helped him a whole lot, because everything goes out the window, and he was trying to control the helicopter based on inaccurate info because he was getting disoriented, spatial disorientation, and likely had no idea if he was up or down, and that usually results in death for a pilot when they enter those conditions unexpectedly.
Well, it's just sickening, and we certainly don't want to place blame on him, because you know that they were doing everything they could to try to be safe, and it just, you know, as you said, unexpected conditions just made the worst of it.
Yeah, and flying somebody, you know, high profile, he may have had a case of get-there-itis, and he just couldn't tell himself, hey, the weather's getting worse, maybe I should land, but it appears that everything was done legally, and it was just an unexpected condition at the end.
Joe Walsh to walk us through it.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.